Time to assess the damage done on the gold and silver prices over the last week. Let's also figure out what the next potential targets might be. This is your weekly precious metals price analysis and update brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold and Silver Standard. My name's Joe. Use the time codes below to go to your favorite metal. We'll stick with gold and silver today. You're looking at gold on the daily time frame, currently priced in US dollars, 1,980. US dollars. We're using the tradingview.com website. Last week, we were above this downtrend line, sitting at over 2,000, so 2,020 US dollars. We had been talking about this downtrend line right here and the roughly $2,010 to $1,990 range, which I said we need to hold above and at least stay closed above for the weekly time frame. You might have some dips on the daily. Let's pop on the indicators and we are below that area. So we've certainly come back down through this downtrend line right there, a key downtrend line that really we shouldn't be dipping under or staying dipped under for too much longer. Preferably what I need to see, if we pop it to the weekly, I'm okay with a dip below. That's okay. That doesn't bother me too much, so long as we do close this trading week above this downtrend line. I really need to see it above the 1,990 area, closing above. So a wick down, completely okay with me. Some daily movements, but we have to close above. Otherwise, that's indicating to me that we are potentially heading down further. What are the next price levels? Heading down, the big one here is 1,960. That will probably act as some kind of level of support. And the next one below there is a Fibonacci level. And we'll just take you all the way back. Let me get rid of, no, I'll just keep that on. Right here, we're talking about the old high of in 2011 right here, and this old low in 2015. So I currently have that level in, and that is at approximately, we are 1,925 US dollars. But for the moment, I'd consider 1,960 to be a level of support to watch out for. So if we do close the week below this downtrend line, then consider a move at least down to 1,960 would be on the cards for almost sure. I've never say anything 100%, but probably looking more likely than not. So definitely need to see it head above that 1,000, close above 1,990, and then I'd be more confident to say, look, little blip on the way up. Of course, you have the massive move in just the last couple of weeks to 2,150 US dollars, roughly. As I was saying last week in the Don't Panic video, gold dips but don't panic, I was saying don't panic, as you do. After you break out and have a big move above a downtrend line, you oftentimes come back to retest it. So this retest, I'm not afraid of that, but closing below for that week, as I've said, that's going to give me pause to consider we're heading down further. That is really quick and easy for the gold price. We've just seen the damage done in the last week or so. If we take a look at the relative strength index, let's go back to the daily time frame. Do we have any further clues? Relative strength index on the daily time frame, definitely heading down. You can see somewhat of a double top on the daily RSI, and it is currently trending down. We are at a rough support level though, if you can see that. Just pop in this horizontal line. You can see we've come back to a rough horizontal support level, slight touch below it, but we are in the downward direction. That doesn't mean we're heading all the way back down, but I could easily see. That's why I have that $1,960 mark as a level of support right there. You could certainly see it come a little bit further down, and we haven't spent any time in oversold territory on the daily time frame since back here of that dip of 1,810 US dollars back in the beginning of October. So we'll definitely have to spend some time in oversold eventually, just a matter of when, of course. But that is my call for the moment, a support level of 1,960. But keep in mind this area here of 1,925, there's also comes very close to this support level right here. So that general area, and we just really need to hold above on the weekly. Got to close this week above there in order to say there was just a little blip, and we can be still confident that higher moves can be coming in the next number of months. Just got to watch this area right here. That is gold. Now let's take a look at silver. Oh, dearie me. Okay, so silver right here on the last week's video, that's the monthly time frame. Let's take a quick look. We were at $24.15 roughly. We'd come off this resistance level, the big one, as I've been talking about for a very long time, the $26 level. Once again, it acted as major resistance, and we had broken down through this downtrend line here, but I said we really needed to close above it for the week and hold, and that was not the case. Right here on the weekly, you can see very clearly a breakdown through this downtrend line, and then since then I popped back in, and you didn't see it last week, but I popped in this downtrend line just to keep an eye on it, and so far, at least on the daily time frame, we have closed below it. So not looking great for silver at the moment. It was not surprising, I'll say, to see the big rejection at the $26 level. What's doing this big rejection over this last number of, since back here, since July of 2020, when we broke through, we failed to hold it for more than a couple of months, and then it's acted as major resistance since March of 2022. So it's March of last year. And of course, the 26 level was a major level of support in the previous bull run as well. Why it does it around here? Look, it's a huge Fibonacci level. And manipulators, if you want to call it, or market psychology, if you want to call it that, really just doesn't like 26 or breaking above it. So here we are back down to $22.75 in US dollar terms. The relative strength index now below its average. So you can see the purple line is below the yellow line right here, so trending down. Take a look at it on the daily time frame, absolutely trending down. Wouldn't surprise me if we got into oversold territory. Again, you have to spend some time in oversold territory eventually. The last time we did was back in just the beginning of October, just like we did with gold right there. Doesn't mean we absolutely will this time, but heading down there, not surprising, particularly because we are below this uptrend line right here. So similar for gold. I don't think it's going to happen in this week. Definitely not. We're not going to see a move back above this downtrend line. So I'm going to say, never say never, but highly doubtful that in the next few days we rocket back up here. If it does, I'll be certainly happy. So let me put it in there anyway. A close above on the weekly time frame, above this downtrend line, and then we're still smooth sailing, in my humble opinion. I really need to see it close above this uptrend line on the weekly time frame to say we're still in sort of no man's land, sort of indeterminate, but a close or staying below this downtrend line on the weekly time frame doesn't look good. So then this uptrend line right here becomes resistance, which we would need to punch through, and potentially I would say that lower prices would be potentially coming. Let's take a look at a couple of support levels, next price targets. I think the most obvious one, if you can see it too, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to call it that right there. So we'll call it, rather than the spike below down here to the 21 something, we'll call it right here, because you can see that was a level of resistance as well, and that is at $22.31. So $22, let me start that again, sorry, $22.23. Okay, it's quite specific, but call it 22.20. Could be a level of support that we would need to hold. And breaking down from there, you have this old spike down at $20.70, and that happens to be a very key Fibonacci level. Let me show you that very quickly. We'll punch out as far as we can go. Let's see, that's actually, I'll have to take it out to the monthly. I've shown you this many times before, but this is the old high of 1980, the lows of the early 90s. And you have the 0.382 Fibonacci level from this old high, this old low at $20.60, $20.70 roughly. And I found that Fibonacci has been quite predictive over this number of decades from that really old high and that really old low from the 80s and the early 90s. So that's why you have this level right here has been a level of support as well. That was back in, again, so where we had that breakdown to 1810 in gold in that $20.70 area in early October. So that is a Fibonacci level there. So I would call it $22.20 support level, and then the big Fibonacci level here of $20.60, $20.70. Got to see it break above, at least go back into this symmetrical triangle pattern in order to say, oh, look, indeterminate. And I said, not going to happen, but it would be great to see it close the week above this downtrend line. So that is a downtrend line that's still going to be in play for a while, and this uptrend line may be an area of resistance. That's really it to assess the sort of the short-term damage on the gold and silver prices in the last week or so. Lots of hurdles to get over. We thought we were going to get there this time. Let's see, in the last year or so, 1, 2, 3. We thought fourth time may have been a charm. That $26 level is just so infamous and a very annoying level. But I tell you now, when we do break above it and hold for more than a couple of months, then it'll be a great, great time. And the final hurdle I have here, if you're new to the channel and a new subscriber, $31.20 is my final hurdle in order for me to say, if we break above and hold above this level, then we're absolutely on our way 100% for months and years to come for an epic silver bull run. Not the case so far. So are you buying these dips, or are you waiting for lower prices? Post a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I'd also like to hear if you have any other suggestions for technical analysis indicators. I like to use the relative strength index. I like to use simple trend lines and Fibonacci as well. Do you have some different analysis tools that you use? Post a comment below and let me know. So that is your gold and silver analysis for this week. Please head over to ainslieBullion.com.au to buy all your precious metals, gold, silver, and platinum to balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care. We'll see you next time.